the feel. Let them stankin' in the river. Got 'em caught up by the hands. I'm about the violence. I confide up in the silence of the land. It's the trio in this night. What you really know about it, ho? Loving all the stranger things in life. We strictly criminal. Twisted like a psycho. Think a demon taking over me. Go and grab my knife. It be another fucking killing spree. Take away my peace and you get murdered. That's just how it is. Burn you like a blunt up in the flames. Forever stuck in hell. Yes, I be the man that's spilling blood up in your scary dreams. Thinking of a clever way to take your life by any means. Please don't feel the reaper. Let the devil come and grab a hold. Fill you up with that and drag your body. We'll never know. Just another day in hell. I got this evil on my mind. All these motherfuckers talking, so I'm thinking homicide. In the south it's raining blood. Be the trio on the rise. Try to fuck up to my clique and we gon' eat this southern fried. Just another day in hell. I got this evil on my mind. All these motherfuckers talking, so I'm thinking homicide. In the south it's raining blood. It be the trio on the rise. Try to fuck up to my clique and we gon' eat this southern fried.
Now, how do you get this Doombringer shotgun? Is you go to Blueprint Shop, click G, and go to Shotgun Blueprint and buy yourself a Doombringer. Let's get straight into the basics of how Doombringer works. It has a 65% chance to trigger the bullseye on hit. If you don't know what bullseye is, if you right click on the weapon, details, click X on I keyword, the bullseye continues debuff. Highlight marked targets will be outlined and suffer from vulnerability plus 8% for 12 seconds. What is vulnerability, you may ask? You know when you shoot an enemy like that and boom, you have a chance to trigger bullseye. You either trigger it or you don't. When you trigger it, the enemy will be marked blue and you will have temporary wall hacks. You will be able to see player behind walls basically. What it also does is it increases damage dealt to them by 8%. So they're more vulnerable. That's basically what bullseye is. Next up is defeating a marked enemy grants attack plus 6 for 60 seconds, up to 5 stacks. So when you mark and you have to mark the enemy first, if you don't mark it and kill it, you will not get the buff. So you would have to first mark it, which is obviously first shot will either mark it or not, and then the second shot will kill it. Let's find an NPC to test this on. I see one victim already. I'm going to quickly showcase it to you. So you can see we mark the enemy, we kill it. Okay. My aim is amazing. You can see this right here. This is your passive for the gun. So it's ticking down. It has 60 seconds. So basically, if you kill another enemy, you're going to restack the buff. Look at this. Boom. Now we have 2 of these. And you can see that the timer went back to 60. Pretty good passive. So what is attack plus 6 for 60 seconds? Attack plus 6 is just increasing your weapon damage. And that's basically all it does. Now, after triggering the bullseye, damage reduction plus 5% for 8 seconds, up to 4 stacks. So when you trigger the bullseye, let's say you shoot an enemy, boom, you trigger bullseye, boom, you shoot another enemy, boom, you trigger bullseye on that enemy. Then you will keep getting that damage reduction up to 4 stacks. It's basically the same. It's just stacks and it resets the timer as you trigger bullseye. Triggering bullseye is marking enemies, by the way. And then we have a crit rate plus 30% when hitting marked enemies. Your crit rate is plus 30%. So we have 20 crit rate right now, as you can see. If I shot an enemy, I wouldn't really crit them. I would only crit them by 50% if the enemy was marked. So I would have to mark them first, and then the second shot is going to be basically hella damage. And that's it. That's literally it. That's how the weapon works. Now, for the calibration for this gun, I have one Doombringer, which is reload speed plus 150%, magazine capacity minus 30%. This is important about the magazine capacity. I'm going to go in detail about this a little bit later, but we're using weak spot damage on this gun. Now there's 3 calibrations that you can go with. The first one being weak spot damage, the second one being crit damage, and the third one being crit rate. All 3 of them are great. If you do PVE, then go with weak spot damage. If you go with PvP, You can go with crit damage and crit rate, or both crit rate and both crit damage. So for the armor sets now, I am wearing Renegade Hood, Renegade Gloves, and Renegade Pants. This is only for PvE, I'm using this. And the reason I have a Renegade 3 parts and not Lone Wolf or anything is because I'm using the Sniper, and you get that juicy reload speed with juicy weak spot damage. And the third part is only for PvE, because if you hit the same enemy, you're gonna be increasing your weak spot damage by 4% up to 10 stacks. This is for PvE, by the way, not that much for PvP, because normally you're not gonna hit the same player 10 times in PvP, right? So this armor is strictly for PvE. The Scout Mask is for max HP, the Agent Top is for head damage reduction. Now, if you're running a Doombringer and Shotgun, then you could use 2 Renegade parts for the reload speed and weak spot damage. Then you could use 2 Agent parts, so you get plus 10% weak spot damage again. Or you can even run 3 Agent parts, get Bullet Saver effect with every precise kill, weak spot damage plus 15% for 8 seconds, effect can stack up to 3 times. For that though, you would have to be going rampage and killing people by headshots. So I think 2 Agent parts would be better, and 2 Renegade parts, and on the last part you would just choose something that gives you max HP, whether it's Scout Mask right here or whether it's heavy duty shoes, because heavy duty shoes on one part wearing, you will also get max HP, and it has to be highly upgraded. Now for PvP, this armor is great, but on the third part, let's talk about the third part though. You will get 1 stack of Lone Shadow with every 2 weapon crit hits, so you have to crit 2 times to get 1 stack, which is going to be 6% crit damage for 30 seconds. It wouldn't really work with third and fourth part. It actually would work with fourth part, but the third part is useless for PvP because you need to stack your crit damage to get, you know, all that 60% crit damage increase. So take a look at this. I'm going to crit 2 times. We're going to crit more. We're going to crit more. You know, as we keep critting more and more, our stacks are now to 7, 8, 9. Boom, we have reached the max stacks right now. And basically, that's what you have to do in PvP. You would have to keep critting on people to get that 10 stacks. So really, I think Lone Wolf is not that great for PvP. However, if you're doing PvE, then this Lone Wolf 4 parts will be perfect for this armor. As you can see, my crit damage is just stacked, and now it's just dropping because the stacks are expiring. So you can either go with the Renegade parts for PvE or 4 Lone Wolf parts for PvE. Now let's talk about PvP with this gun. If you PvP, then the best armor would be basically Savior parts. You get medicine cooldown minus 20%, when HP is above 70%, weapon and status damage plus 10%. The only sad part is that this gun doesn't benefit from status damage, so that's a L. But on the third part, when HP is below 30%, automatically use the least potent activator in the backpack. Cooldown 40 seconds. So let's say you're fighting over and over, someone's shooting you, you just roll out and the game's basically gonna automatically heal you if you're wearing that armor 3 parts. So Savior would be nice. Now for the fourth part, it works, the armor works. It's after using an activator, movement speed plus 20%, all damage plus 20%, and cloak for 2 seconds. You also get damage reduction 20% on torso and limbs for 20 seconds. So you increase damage and you gain movement speed and you get damage reduction. However, the cloak part is bugged, I think. Someone tested it and you basically get cloaked for the first time and not for the second time. So I don't know about the fourth part. If you guys have Savior's armor, 4 parts, then try it out. Maybe it's working and fixed now. If not, just go with 3 Savior parts. 4 Savior parts would be very good for this setup as well. However, if you do go with 4 parts, then on the 5th part, you could use like heavy duty shoes. So you get 1 of max HP 10%. And if you don't go with 4 parts of Savior and you decide to go with 3, then go with 3 Savior and then on the very end get 2 Falcon parts, because that will give you rolling stamina cost minus 20% and it will give you crit damage plus 12%. Since you're using a Doombringer shotgun, you're going to be rolling. Now if you don't want to go for 2 Falcon parts, then you could literally just get 2 agent pieces for that head damage reduction and weak spot damage. Now the weak spot damage is very beneficial for the Doombringer because the boots that we are using, it's basically after triggering the bullseye, the next 1 bullet will count as weak spot hit, even if they did not hit the weak spot. Weak spot damage plus 30% to enemies affected by the bullseye. So the first hit you do will always be meh, you know, but the second hit you do, bam, look at that. Weak spot damage. What? I hit only the body. What's happening? How am I doing weak spot damage? So as you can see, I'm shooting in the body, and I'm always doing weak spot damage. It doesn't matter if I shoot in the head or not. I'm still gonna do headshot damage. So that is what these boots do. You have to trigger bullseye, which you trigger it by your first shot. Boom, first shot done. We triggered it. Next bullets is all 6 pellets are gonna be weak spot damage. Now, let's talk about these boots. Yes, they're broken. Yes, they need a nerf. And yeah, they will get nerfed. Hopefully, because PvP is broken with this setup. Like, hello? Just need to hit one shot and then we just literally 2-tap people with that. Like, what's happening? So anyways, that's the armor. You need Old Huntsman boots. If you cannot get these Old Huntsman boots, then you can also use Earthly boots, but you will have to hit headshots. All you're gonna get from using these boots is your damage is gonna be increased by 30% on marked enemies. So you'll have to mark them first, which is you trigger bullseye, boom, they're marked, and also it's not just the next bullet, it's gonna be 30% damage increased as long as the enemy is marked. Where with these boots, only your next bullet will be full weak spot. By the way, triggering bullseye stacks, so if you already triggered it, you can trigger it again. Let's say you trigger it, boom, and as long as you keep firing, you have that 65% chance to trigger bullseye. So if you keep just triggering and shooting it over and over, then the next bullets are always going to be weak spot damage. Let's talk about the mods we are using. For the helmet, we are using after reloading, crit rate plus 10%, crit damage plus 20% for 2 seconds. This is a great mod. If you don't like this mod, then you can use Precise Strike. Hitting a weak spot grants weak spot damage plus 12% for 3 seconds. Effect can stack 3 times. So you can use that if you don't like the first move advantage. Now, the reason why it's so beneficial is because you're reloading the gun all the time. Boom, boom, shoot, boom, boom, shoot. You know, you're constantly getting that crit, 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 crit. As well as if you are using Lone Wolf, which I don't really recommend for PvP, but if you are, then on the 4th part of wearing it, you will get plus 8% more crit rate after reloading. You can see that they fixed it. It says increase max lone shadow stacks to 10, crit rate plus 8% for 2 seconds after reloading. It used to be after a kill, but that was the wrong description. They finally fixed it. Now on the mask, I'm using a wrong mod. I just realized that's not supposed to be there. That's what we're supposed to use. So now I'm supposed to do even more damage. But on the mask, we have a targeted strike. When hitting marked enemies, crit rate plus 10% and crit damage plus 25%. You would want to get crit damage rolls on this with a weapon damage bonus instead of magazine capacity. Basically, on every single mod that you have, you want to get weapon damage and crit damage. All the way crit damage and weapon damage. Also, I'm going to provide full mod sheet in the description and pinned comments. You will be able to find all possible roles of the substats on the mods. So if the mod is precision, violent, or talents, you will be able to see which substats come with the mod. Just check out the mod sheet in the description. And if you have any questions, join my Discord. Always crit damage and weapon damage on the substats for the mods. This is very important. You want to either use targeted strike, or you want to use most wanted, which is this. I wouldn't really recommend using this because it just gives you plus 5 attack for 8 seconds and it stacks 3 times, which is going to be increasing your attack by 15%. That's all it does. Also, the mods for Doombringer Shotgun, we are using again crit damage, max HP, and weapon damage. You cannot avoid damage against great ones, damage against normal enemies, and damage against elite enemies. You cannot avoid that substat. That one substat is always going to occupy one slot. And then the max HP could be weapon damage reduced, it could be status damage reduction. Instead of the weapon damage, we can get either magazine capacity, but we cannot have magazine capacity and weapon damage. So again, we just want to have crit damage and weapon damage on our substats for this. It's not really a great mod here. I got kind of unlucky with this, so I need to keep farming. For the gloves, we are using a crit amplifier. It gives us crit rate 10% and crit damage 15%. Crit damage 15% as a substat and weapon damage 4.8%. Very juicy. I wish I got both legendary though. However, this mod, I've obtained it from phase 2, I think. Or phase 3 hard mode, so it's not a phase 4 from pro dungeon mod. It's, you know, it's old, so I need to refarm this mod. And when farming for mods, my biggest advice is to pay attention to what color substats you get. If you get purple, green, gray, that's just terrible. You want to get purple, blue, green. That's the highest tier of mods you can get. Always pay attention to the substats you get. There's 3 RNGs you have to go through. Getting the actual mod, getting the good colors on your substats, and getting good rolls on your substats. That's what you need to care for. If you get just the mod, that's good. The substat rolls are good, but the colors are not that high level, well then that's an issue. You need to keep refarming for these perfect rolls if you want the highest damage. For the shoes, we are using taking no damage within 4 seconds grants plus 20% melee, weapon, and status damage for 30 seconds. It's just the best shoes mod currently in the game. You could be using slow and steady, which is this, but under one condition. You have to be always above 90% HP, and in this game you're probably never above 90% HP after 10 seconds of a fight, so covered advance is the way. You want to get crit damage, weapon damage on it. Weak spot damage is also fine. All you need to care for is that weapon damage. If you have it higher, then your base damage is going to be higher. Crit damage multiplies your weapon damage, and then it gets added on. So same goes with weak spot damage. It multiplies by your weapon damage, and it gets added on the final damage. So if you get weak spot damage on your mods, it's okay. If you get crit damage as well, it's also okay. Both is fine. Just not elemental or status damage. For the Lone Wolf jacket, we are using weak spot damage plus 15% and crit damage 9%. Honestly, you could go with crit amplifier, but I think weak spot damage is just better because you're balancing it between, and crit amplifier doesn't really give you that much. As you can see, if I put crit amplifier, I'm gonna get only plus 2% crit rate and plus 12% crit damage, as well as the substat 9%. That is a total of 21% crit damage, but when it comes to crit rate and crit damage though, you have to go through RNG to crit, which is what I don't really like. So, but feel free to play with the weak spot damage and the crit. These are the only 2 ones you should go for. You could go for with a gold HP mod, and the way you get a gold HP mod is you spam Forsaken Giant over and over. It's a very rare mod, so if you don't get it in 50 controllers, it's very rare. The other way to get gold HP mod is to just spam loot gear crates. Spam loot gear crates in the highest tier zone, which is this White Cliff. This is the only location in the game that is level 60. So you just go there every 4 hours. You just go here, loot the gear crates, boom, you get the HP mod. You don't. Same goes here. You just loot POIs for that gold HP mod. So that would be the best mods for the top. Weak spot damage, crit amplifier, or gold HP mod. For the pants, we are using 3 strikes. This thing is bugged. It just doesn't work. Like, look at this. We have 126.8. Shoot 1 bullet. Nothing happens to the weak spot damage. Reload again. It's just not increasing. So, since 3 strikes are basically broken, there's literally no mod to put on for the shotgun. So, your only option is to put unstoppable currently, because if you do use the Doombringer shotgun and you do use the sniper all paired up together with it, then it will be perfect. Accessories don't matter. All you need is a tactical laser sight for the Doombringer shotgun, and that's it. For the sniper, we are using a integrated suppressor, precision optic, tactical SR mag, and that's it. I will make another separate video for the sniper because this is just for the Doombringer. This is basically for close range fights. Let's go through the Cradle real quick. So handgun enhancement enhances your pistol damage and shotgun. Reloads 1 ammo for reserve upon defeating enemy. You need that, as well as their long range enhancement for sniper damage. Since you're going to be rolling a lot, you'll need this agility for PvP only, not for PVE. You'll need brawl boost for reduced damage against players. You will need tactical combo when you reload. This is so important. When you reload, you'll gain 25% damage increase. You will need sprint for maximum movement speed. And you will need steady hand. It will basically give you weak spot damage plus 20% to the bullseye. So if you mark an enemy, if the enemy is marked, you will always get that 20% damage increase, which is very good for sniper and Doombringer. Paired with the shoes, it's going to be insane. Lastly, the bounty hunter. After defeating a unit you marked, weapon damage plus 25%, weak spot damage 35%, lasting for 15 seconds. And the way you shoot faster with the sniper, all you need to do is zoom in, shoot, cancel out the zoom, and go back in zooming. So zoom, shoot, zoom out, zoom in again. You can see. All you need to do is zoom in, shoot, zoom out, and zoom in again, and it's gonna pull that bolt very fast. That's all it is to the sniper. Of course, you won't be able to do that because you need bolt pulling speed as a calibration. If you don't have that, well, you can't do that. And if you're scoping with the sniper, then you need to press A and D, and as you shoot, it's just gonna shoot faster, you know? That's how you do it. But yeah, in the next video I'll cover the bingo, and then I will also cover the Voltfire. Now let's talk about the very important thing you need to know. I'm gonna go naked quickly. Whoa. And we're gonna use this shotgun. Remember that the shotgun calibration has minus 30% magazine capacity, which means you're gonna have only one bullet in the gun. As you can see, I have only one bullet, and I cannot do anything about it. Well, I can actually. Well, all I need to do is put a magazine capacity mod on it. So 2.4% is not gonna be enough. A 4.8% is also not gonna be enough. So what you really need to, you know, compensate for that one bullet is to put 7.2% magazine capacity. Once you have that, you can then have 2 bullets in your gun. Bro, shut your ass. I swear to God, it's so annoying hearing this guy's voice. But yeah, once you have 7.2%, 2 bullets is gonna be in your magazine. Okay, so onto the juicier stuff. You can actually have 3 bullets in your gun, like so. And to get 3 bullets in the mag, all you gotta do is just use some mods. Twist the knobs a little bit. So on the helmet, you have to put a mag expansion. And you will lose that crit rate and crit damage when you reload, but you will have 3 bullets instead. So if you miss your first shot, hey, you still have 2 bullets. You could use this and go for weapon damage, go for crit damage, and so on and forth. But, however, this mod, if you reload on 1 bullet left, look, we have 1 bullet left. If I reload, we're gonna have 2 bullets. So you have to empty your mag fully, like this. Boom, boom, 0, then it will be 3. So if you always reload on 0 bullets, you will always get that extra bullet, which is gonna be 3 bullets instead of 2. Yeah, bro, this thing is literally a triple barrel shotgun now, huh? It's not just this mod you need. You also need a total of 56.4% magazine capacity. So this mod gives us 30%. We need 26.4% more. So on my mask, I have a 9.6%. On my gloves, I have a 4.8%. On my boots, I don't have anything. On my top, I have 7.2%. And on my legs, I have a 4.8%. Summing all of these mods up, I have a total of 26.4% magazine capacity, and then summing the helmet up, that's a total of 56.4% magazine capacity increase. So as long as you go above that 56.4%, you're gonna have 3 bullets. Although I don't really use this, I'm just sticking to this with my 2 bullets, because the mod rolls on 3 bullets mods I have are not that great. But I'm just saying that this is possible. And again, to not have 1 bullet, you need 7.2% magazine capacity, at least on one of your mod. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the shotgun. Let me know if this video was helpful for you, and leave a comment down below what you run on your build. Maybe you have something juicier than I have. And as always, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care and peace out.